Welcome back, guys, to our program. Magma Silver is advancing the Niñobamba project in Peru. It spans an 8-kilometer mineralized corridor within a prolific geological belt and has notably been explored by Newmont Mining and others. Therefore, they've been able to confirm significant resource potential. Joining me to talk a lot more about this is Stephen Barley, Chairman and CEO.
Good morning, Rich.
Okay, so Steve, I think we can start with talking about all of this historical drill work first, if you don't mind.
Certainly. Back in the 2000s, early 2000s through to 2010, Newmont Mining had a part of the property. They did about $7 million worth of work, 65 drill holes, countless samples, metallurgical work, fatal flaw studies, and ended up doing an internal report that recommended that the project proceed as an economically viable mine. Newmont decided not to proceed with it. The result of their work was that they did a fatal flaw analysis. There's no fatal flaws. They recommended that, said this would be a good long-term project. In addition, that was on one section of the property. And on the other section, we had AngloGold and working with Bear Creek, and they did some preliminary work on what we call the Niñobamba main deposit. And altogether, about $10 million US, roughly $14 million Canadian was spent, and it's been sitting more or less idle since 2012. So we are starting with the Newmont identified a non-compliant resource of silver and gold, and we are going in now to further refine and define that deposit.
What attracted you, your team, to this project in the first place, though, and Peru as a jurisdiction?
Peru as a jurisdiction is a very good place to be doing work. They're the third largest producer of silver, 11th largest producer of gold in the world. It's a safe jurisdiction that has clear laws and rules and regulations for mining. It's a safe place to be. We have a lot of majors working in that country. 15% of their GDP comes from the mining sector. So they're very amenable to mining. So Peru was an easy jurisdiction to pick. We got involved simply because of one of our founding directors, Michael Townsend, was also a shareholder of Rio Silver. And Rio Silver picked the project up, and it was the first group to actually combine all two segments between the Newmont and AngloGold sides. Working with Rio Silver was Jeff Reeder. Jeff is a 30-year geologist, 30 years in Peru. So strong ties, runs an operating small mine in Peru, very familiar, has a great technical team. Jeff became interested because one of the Rio Silver board members was also on a company called Corner Bay back in the late 1990s. Corner Bay developed a silver gold project in Sonora region of Mexico and ended up selling that to Pan American Silver for about $100 million in 2003 when silver was $5 an ounce. And that's why we became interested in the project.
Well, within Niñobamba, you have 3 key identified zones. And specifically in Joramina, you've got a drill permit, and that's why you're here. We want to talk about this. What's the plan moving forward, and when can investors expect drill results out of this zone?
The drill permit is on the Joramina and the Randy Pata zones, which were the former Newmont pieces of the property. We were fortunate to obtain that in mid-October. The drill permit was issued. We've also fortunate later in October, we completed a $5 million financing led by Research Capital in Toronto. As a result of that, we are amending our plans for drilling on the Joramina. We've set aside $1 million US to work on that. Currently, I have Jeff Reeder is in the Lima office working with the technical team to design an expanded drill program on Joramina. We are fortunate in that the 65 drill holes done by Newmont, we have all of the data. We have all of the assays. And in the mining sector for 43101 compliant reports, so long as we drill 10% of those holes, so let's call it 7 holes out of the 65, and our results are close to the Newmont results, we can use all of the other data that Newmont generated without having to pay for drill. So we have gotten approved for 20 pads. We can do directional drilling off those pads. In addition, we have what's called a drift, or for the sake of a better term, it's a tunnel, old tunnel into the side of the Joramina deposit. Goes in about 160 meters. Very competent, very safe to work in. With a very slight modification, we can do unlimited drilling from the inside the deposit, saving time and money. So we're excited about the drill program. It'll be designed over the next, probably by the end of November at the latest. We expect to have drills turning in early Q1. And the whole intention is to take the non-compliant Newmont resource in gold and silver up to a 43-101 compliant level.
Talk to us about how Magma compares to peers, specifically in Peru, and why you would, I mean, obviously you're the chairman CEO, so this is a loaded question, but why Magma versus other potential junior stories that my audience could be looking at right now?
I think, and in our opinion, we have one of the best starter projects in Peru in the silver space. We are equal parts silver and gold in terms of value. Our project, because of the $10 million that was spent by Newmont and by AngloGold, we're really starting at a more advanced stage. So we're not just a grassroots greenfields project. We actually have a lot of work done. The locations, all the drill collar locations, we know a lot of data about this project already. It's near surface or to surface. It'll have an extremely low strip ratio. And this is all coming from the Newmont report as well. The metallurgical work shows that we will have very high recoveries with very low level of processing. So basically you're going to mine it, light crush, throw it on a heap leach. It's a very, very simple project to work on. The comparison, as I drew earlier, was the Alamo Dorado project in Sonora. It's a direct comp to what we are doing at the Niñobamba project. It's a good early stage project. I've been around the business for over 40 years, and there's no easy mining deal, but this is one of the easier ones that I've come across.
I was curious about this earlier, but why did Newmont and others, what was their rationale for walking away from Niñobamba in the first place?
AngloGold was looking for, they brought Bear Creek in to a joint venture. Bear Creek was looking for silver. They didn't even assay for gold on Niñobamba main. Subsequently, Rio did $1 million of trenching, and we have high grade, long, big widths of gold and silver on the Niñobamba. Conversely, on the Newmont property, the Joramina, they were looking for gold. They did not really have any interest in silver at that point. And silver was, less than $10 an ounce. They walked over a 2-kilometer silver anomaly on Randy Pata to get to the next gold target. Our grab sample came back with over 8.5 ounces of silver from the surface grab on that anomaly that they overlooked. Newmont's a big company. They're looking at multiple projects, maybe because they need a large project in order to move the dial on their balance sheet. So therefore, maybe it was too small for them, which was a very, very good occurrence for us.
Mm. Well, other than drill results that we could expect from Joramina, can you talk to us about any other upcoming catalysts that could drive momentum for Magma stock?
Yes, we are in the process of negotiating a community access agreement on the Niñobamba main. In Peru, you must have a community access before you can do exploration work. We reasonably anticipate we will have that by the end of this year. We've hired local consultants. There's no reason to expect they won't do it. They've done it in the past. Just Rio Silver could not afford to maintain the payments. So we will also, in concurrent with the drilling on the Joramina Randy Pata, we will start all of the surface sampling, mapping, trenching, trench extensions, because the trenches by Rio Silver ended in mineralization. They just couldn't afford to take them any longer. So we are going to have a lot of information in addition to drill results coming out in Q1 of 2026. And that will continue throughout the year. We'll continue drilling until we have the permits for the Niñobamba main, and we'll start drilling on Niñobamba main, which we consider to be the best piece of the property.
All right. Well, there's going to be a lot to watch out for when it comes to Magma Silver. Stephen, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
MGMA on the Venture Exchange. Of course, tickers are fully below for you across all exchanges that Magma is listed on. Most importantly, don't forget to go onto CEO.CA and search the primary ticker symbol to see what investors are saying. Thanks for watching.